Have you ever felt like you're just running on a hamster wheel? You know, you're working harder and harder, but you're not really getting anywhere? Well, you're definitely not alone. But what if I told you there's a way to actually get off that wheel? It all starts with a huge but simple shift in how you think. Today, we're going to dig into how to think like an entrepreneur and finally escape that daily grind.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll unpack what the rat race trap really is. Then, we're going to look at two very different mindsets that either keep you stuck or set you free. From there, we'll dive into the entrepreneurial shift, what that actually looks like. And of course, we'll give you a real action plan to start building this new mindset for yourself. Finally, we'll talk about redefining what wealth even means to you.
So let's kick things off with the problem itself. It's a cycle that so many of us get caught in, sometimes without even realizing it has a name.
I mean, it's a blunt question, but it's a really important one to ask yourself. Seriously, do you feel like you're just putting in more and more effort, but your life isn't really getting better? The rat race, a term that Robert Kiyosaki made famous, just captures that feeling perfectly, doesn't it? Picture a lab rat in a maze, always chasing a piece of cheese that's just out of reach. That's exactly what it feels like when every time you get a raise, your expenses somehow magically grow to match it, trapping you in this never-ending cycle of just working to pay the bills. And listen, this is not just some catchy phrase. This is a cold, hard reality for millions. Get this, at the end of 2023, household debt in the United States ballooned to a mind-boggling $17.5 trillion. That is a staggering amount of financial pressure, and it's the very fuel that keeps that rat race spinning. But the problem actually goes deeper than just the numbers on a balance sheet. At its absolute core, the rat race is a mindset problem. It's all about how we're taught to think about money, about work, and about risk. So, in his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki uses this incredible story of his two dads to show these two completely different ways of thinking. One dad represents that traditional employee mindset, the one we're all taught. The other dad, he embodies that entrepreneurial spirit. Just look at the night and day difference in their advice. Poor Dad's goal is to become a really good employee, right? A valuable part of the machine. But Rich Dad's goal, it's to own the machine. It's a totally different game. And here's where things get really interesting, their approach to risk. The employee mindset is all about security, playing it safe, avoiding risk like the plague. But the entrepreneurial mindset, it sees risk as just part of the process, something you have to learn to manage and even use to your advantage. Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant really breaks this down visually. See, on the left side, you've got employees and the self-employed. They're basically trading their time for money. On the right side, you've got business owners and investors. They've built systems and own assets that make money for them. The whole goal, according to him, is to make that leap from the left side of the quadrant over to the right. Okay, so the big question is, how do you make that shift? What does it actually take? Well, it really boils down to adopting three key traits that are at the heart of the entrepreneurial mindset. It all kicks off with an ownership mentality. And no, this doesn't mean you have to own a business right away. It means owning your results, taking full responsibility for the outcomes, good or bad. When you do that, you just naturally become more innovative and more committed. Next up, you've got to be solution-focused. Entrepreneurs don't get paralyzed by problems. They see them as puzzles to solve, as chances to learn something new. Failures aren't the end of the road. They're just data points on the way to success. And last but not least, a growth orientation. This is all about playing the long game. It's not about the next paycheck. It's about building long-term value. It means reinvesting in your future, in your business, your skills, your network, you name it. And this quote, this one just nails the whole idea. It perfectly captures the essence of this entire mindset shift. The goal isn't just to work harder for more money, it's to build assets that work hard for you. Okay, this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually start building this mindset, especially if you're not about to quit your day job tomorrow? Well, it comes down to deliberate, daily practice. So, you ready for some action? Here are 4 simple steps you can literally start today. First, try journaling every day to track your thoughts and learn from your experiences. Second, practice mindfulness. It'll help you stay focused and make better decisions under pressure. Third, start taking small, calculated risks. This builds up your tolerance for uncertainty. And finally, connect with other entrepreneurs. A strong support system is absolutely crucial.
But as we start to wrap this up, it's so important to remember that escaping the rat race isn't just about the money. It's about completely redefining what success and wealth actually mean to you.
The author Nassim Taleb has this absolutely beautiful definition of true wealth. It has nothing to do with fancy cars or big houses. It's about the simple things, isn't it? Sleeping without worry, having a clear conscience, being grateful, and just having the freedom to live life on your own terms.
And that really brings us to the final, most important thought. Escaping the rat race starts with that mindset shift we talked about, but it ends with you designing a life based on your own personal definition of wealth. So I'll leave you with this question. What does a truly rich life really look like for you?